Have you ever planned something out in your head only to be disappointed by an unexpected outcome? I bet most of us have experienced this at one point or another, probably even a little bit every day. If we can learn to recognize the good in any circumstance, the detours that we come across in our lives will become more meaningful. My parents got married about 27 years ago in a small town called Alvin, Texas. They began planning their future together and talking about the family that they hoped to build. This family included 4 children. Those of you that know my family know that this is not our reality. There's only one child in my family, and it's me. After years of disappointing doctor's visits, my parents finally found a doctor that was able to help them start this family. However, he told them their only option was IVF, in vitro fertilization. IVF is basically an assisted fertilization alternative where the embryo is formed outside of the mother and then implanted. With the help from this new doctor and this medical technology, my parents were finally able to bring a child into the world, me. Yes, I'm a test tube baby. However, this process was not ideal by any means. IVF is an expensive and risky procedure, and my parents' expectation of having 4 kids was becoming unrealistic. Despite this obstacle, my parents remained grateful in this circumstance, even though it was hindering their plans. If everything had gone as planned from the beginning, I would not be here telling this story now. Looking back, I know they are appreciative for this stumbling block. I definitely am. My parents proved to me that there is always good that can come from plans that don't work out. This is a lesson that they've worked hard to teach me throughout my whole life. Embracing circumstances doesn't necessarily have to refer to drastic situations. In fact, it's being conscious of the little things that can make the biggest difference. A few summers ago, my parents and I went to Turks and Caicos. We love to travel, so anytime we go someplace, we make a point to eat the local foods and do the touristy things that we couldn't do here at home. The first few days, everyone in Turks and Caicos was telling us that we had to go to this fish boil. They said it was something we could not miss while we were there, so naturally we planned our whole week around this night. When that night came, we walked about a half-mile down the beach to the fish boil, and when we got there, we were incredibly disappointed. It was packed with sweaty people walking from booth to booth buying food, and I'm pretty sure I lost my parents within the first 2 minutes. Basically, it wasn't what we expected at all. We decided we did not even want to stay and eat because we were all getting claustrophobic and it just wasn't worth it at that point. Now, I was angry. I had been looking forward to this night all week. So we began our long walk back down the beach when we came across a family of stingrays resting along the shore. This sounds kind of dangerous, but we were extra careful. I had never seen stingrays like this up close, apart from SeaWorld. In this moment, I realized if we hadn't walked all the way down the beach, been disappointed, and had to turn around and come back, we never would have had this experience. It sounds silly, but this is when I really started to believe that everything happens for a reason. It's moments like these that have taught me to find joy even in the little things, because now I can appreciate the impact that they have had on me. At the beginning of the year, I faced one of the toughest obstacles. I lost my grandmother and my uncle in the same week. This was a huge struggle for my whole family. I've experienced deaths in my family before, but never more than one so close together. I was emotionally exhausted, and I just didn't understand. This kind of thing didn't happen to people, so why was it happening to me? I had always thought I was pretty good at seeing the bright side of things, but this time I didn't see a bright side. My uncle had suffered from a brain hemorrhage, and there was virtually nothing anyone could have done to prevent it or to cure him. However, none of us were really very aware of how his health was deteriorating. When the life flight crew arrived to take my uncle to the hospital, my cousin turned to the rest of my family and said, "I think I just switched my major." She may never have known this was a field she was interested in pursuing had this situation not unfolded like it did. Now, this was just the start of seeing the bright side. After my uncle passed away, the hospital informed my family that he had signed up to be an organ donor. My uncle had never been the most motivated or driven person, so finding out he had selflessly made this choice was a positive in itself. By being an organ donor, he helped save the lives of 5 other people. They used his lungs, his kidneys, his liver, even his corneas as organ transplants for these people, and his heart went to research. Although grief is painful, there are now 5 people that are able to continue living because of my uncle, and I think that's pretty special. Now I know that looking on the bright side doesn't always mean I'll benefit from a situation. More importantly, it can mean positively impacting people who need it more. Obviously, it's not always easy to embrace situations when they don't go our way. We don't have as much control over our lives as we'd like to believe. But the next time something doesn't go how you plan it, embrace it. Look for the good in any circumstance because you never know what you could learn. Thank you.